Have you ever felt lonely while sitting right next to someone you love? Not the kind of loneliness that comes from being single. The kind that happens when you share a home, a bed, responsibilities, but somehow feel emotionally invisible. Here's something unsettling. A therapist once described a couple who had been married for more than 2 decades. They lived together every day, raised children together, attended family gatherings together. To everyone else, they looked perfectly happy. But behind closed doors, they had stopped having real conversations years earlier. Not arguments, not silence after a fight. Just no genuine emotional connection. And almost nobody noticed. The frightening part isn't that this happened. It's that it happens far more often than people realize. Today we're talking about emotional isolation, the quiet relationship killer that doesn't arrive overnight. It grows slowly, almost invisibly, and if you're not paying attention, it can turn love into something that feels more like a business partnership than a relationship. Let's unpack how it happens. The most connected generation. Feeling the most disconnected. We live in a world where we're constantly connected. Thousands of messages, notifications every few minutes, unlimited conversations with strangers across the globe. Yet many couples spend hours in the same room without exchanging a meaningful sentence. Think about it. You're on the couch. Your partner is next to you. Both of you are staring at different screens. You're technically together. Emotionally, you're somewhere else. Sometimes our phones don't create distance, they simply hide it. The noise from the outside world becomes a way to avoid noticing the silence inside the relationship. And that's where emotional isolation begins. Relationships don't die from one big moment. Most people imagine relationships ending because of betrayal or a dramatic fight. But many don't end that way. They fade. Conversation becomes logistics. Love becomes routine. Connection becomes maintenance. Instead of asking, "How are you really feeling?" the conversations become, "Did you pay the electric bill? Who's picking up the kids? What's for dinner?" Necessary conversations. But notice something. You're managing a household without nurturing the people living inside it. Eventually, the relationship starts operating like a company. Efficient, organized, emotionally empty. Sign 1. You stop sharing your inner world. Here's the first warning sign. Something amazing happens during your day. Or something painful. Who is the first person you want to tell? If your answer isn't your partner, pay attention. Sometimes people stop sharing because they expect criticism. Sometimes because they expect indifference. And sometimes because they've convinced themselves they wouldn't understand anyway. That sentence is dangerous. The moment you stop inviting your partner into your emotional world, they slowly stop living inside it. Sign 2. You're having conversations, but nobody feels heard. This one is incredibly common. One person opens up. "I've been feeling anxious lately." The other immediately offers solutions. "You should exercise. Don't think about it. You're overreacting." Problem solved? Not really, because emotional conversations aren't math problems. They're moments where people want understanding before advice. Another version is even subtler. Someone shares a struggle, and the other responds by talking about themselves. "That's nothing. My day was even worse." Now there are 2 monologues, but no dialogue. Being heard isn't the same thing as being answered. Sign 3. Physical intimacy becomes automatic. Physical intimacy can survive even when emotional intimacy disappears, but it starts feeling different. Predictable, mechanical. The same routine, the same timing, the same ending. Instead of curiosity, there's repetition. Instead of closeness, there's habit. 2 people can touch each other physically, while feeling miles apart emotionally. That's not intimacy. It's routine wearing the mask of intimacy. Why this happens so slowly? Here's what makes emotional isolation so dangerous. Nobody wakes up and decides, starting today, we're going to become strangers. It happens through tiny moments. Conversations postponed. Feelings dismissed. Stress prioritized. Phones chosen over presence. These moments seem insignificant. Until years later, they become the relationship. Emotional distance is built one ordinary day at a time. Can emotional distance be reversed? Yes. But not with one grand romantic gesture. It starts with something much smaller and much harder. Someone has to go first. Step 1. Break the script the next time you're together. Put the phone down. Ask a question that isn't about responsibilities. Try questions like, what's been on your mind lately? What's something you've been carrying alone? Do you remember when we first met? What did you think about me? Questions like these interrupt routine. They remind two people there's still a story beneath the schedule. Step 2. Take responsibility for your side. It's easy to think, they stopped talking to me. Maybe that's true. But relationships are systems. Both people influence the emotional climate. Ask yourself honestly, do I make it safe for them to be vulnerable? Or do I interrupt, judge, correct? Sometimes repairing a relationship begins with one sentence. I'm sorry I wasn't emotionally present, even when I was physically here. No scorekeeping. No waiting for the other person to apologize first. Step 3. Expect awkwardness. If emotional distance has existed for months or years, the first attempts to reconnect may feel uncomfortable. Your partner might laugh, change the subject, act suspicious. That's often self-protection, not rejection. Don't respond with frustration. Respond with consistency. Gentleness is more powerful than pressure. Trust usually returns quietly, the same way it disappeared. Before it's too late, life moves faster than we think. One day, you realize you've spent years living beside someone without truly knowing who they've become, or letting them know who you've become. No relationship stays emotionally close automatically. Connection is something we practice. Again and again. So, here's one question to leave with you. When was the last time you stopped talking about life and started talking about each other? Your answer might tell you exactly where your relationship is heading.